Thank you for listening to this PodcastOne production. Available on Apple Podcasts and PodcastOne.
Hey, man, you know what feels great? Paying off high-interest credit cards, getting a lower rate, and saving money. How you going to do that? I'll tell you what you're going to do. Get off your ass and refinance your credit card balances and save with a credit card consolidation loan from our new sponsor, Lightstream. With Lightstream, you can get a loan from $5,000 to $100,000 with no fees and get a rate as low as 5.95% APR with autopay. Again, there are no application fees, no origination fees, no transaction fees, and no prepayment penalties. The online application is quick and easy, plus you can even get your money as soon as the day you apply. Just for listeners of the Steve Austin Show, apply now to get an additional interest rate discount. The only way to get this discount is to go to lightstream.com/Austin. Again, that's Lightstream, lightstream.com/Austin for an additional discount. Subject to credit approval, rate includes 0.50% auto pay discount. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Austin for more information.
The following program is a PodcastOne.com production.
From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now, here's Steve Austin.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Steve Austin Show. I am coming to you from the mean streets of Los Angeles, California. God dang. Man, as I record the open of this podcast, it is December 1st, and this is a December 3rd podcast download. Son of a gun. Hell, I can't believe it's already December. Christmas is right around the corner. Then we're going to bring it in the new year, 2020. Seemed like a blink of an eye. 2019 is damn near gone. Shit. It's been pretty decent to me. I hope it's been pretty decent to you. There's been ups and downs, and that's kind of the way it goes. But nonetheless, time flies by. Get your shit in, folks. Get your shit in. Make sure you have a good time. We ain't here forever. God dang, what a hell of a day it's been for me over here on football Sunday afternoon after football Saturday yesterday. God damn. LSU Tigers. Man, they were on fire. Joe Burrow, probably the Heisman Trophy winner for this season, in my opinion. They were looking sharp and on fire, torching Texas A&M. God dang. A&M went down there to Baton Rouge, and, man, my little nephew goes over to A&M, and he could hardly stand to watch. Anyway, of course, my Roll Tide got rolled up by Auburn over there in hostile territory. Holy smoke, the wheels fell off that wagon before they could even get it rolling. Everything that could happen did happen. But nonetheless, we will see what happens. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the Final Four. I know we have Ohio State looked super sharp yesterday. Man, they kicked the living daylights out of Michigan. I think you're going to have, Ohio State will stay number 1. LSU will stay number 2. Clemson is number 3. Clemson has been very quiet at staying at number 3, undefeated. Dabo Swinney has done a hell of a job over there. And what will the 4th team be? Will it be Utah? Who are they going to put up in that spot? Oklahoma looked okay. I think Utah is probably going to jump up there, and we'll see how that shakes out. But what a great weekend for football. And I'm going to watch Sunday Night Football tonight. I forget who's playing. God dang, man. I was trying to find the one football game I really wanted to watch was the Baltimore Ravens against the San Francisco 49ers. Ever since Baltimore drafted Lamar Jackson from Louisville to that team, I've been really interested in their football program. And, man, this year Lamar Jackson is just lighting them up. Man, I was reading an article about Lamar. It says he had worked all offseason in throwing the pro-size football versus the college-size football. And, man, that guy put in a lot of homework, did a lot of work just on top of the work he was already doing. And he is so fun to watch. Jimmy Garoppolo's been doing pretty damn good over in San Fran. They got a real strong-ass team, and I'm happy to see that because, man, back in the old days when Joe Montana was running that show with Bill Walsh and all those cats, I was big into the San Fran scene. And then the wheels kind of fell off, and, they're coming back. So they've been stout, and they've been hot. So this was a matchup I wanted to watch. Hell, I look on the computer, says it's supposed to be on Fox Network. was supposed to be Channel 11 where I come from on DirecTV. I thumbed around that damn remote control. I couldn't find shit. My neighbor was watching it 5 blocks away, but I didn't want to go watch it at my neighbor's house. I think they must have had the NFL package or something. I ain't got that. I just got basic DirecTV. I couldn't find a fucking football game on television. I ain't going to go watch it over at my damn neighbor's house. So I kept checking the score on the ticker tapes of the games that I was watching. And god dang, man, ended up at 17-17. And I was like, man, San Fran's really hot. I guess maybe they're going to get them. And the weather was really bad. And I'll be damned if was Justin Tucker's the field goal kicker's name. Got in field goal range. And Baltimore Ravens pulled it off. That damn Lamar Jackson is so fun to watch play football. And in his interview, his post-game interview, somebody asked him about the wind. He goes, man, that wind was messing with him. He was having a hard time hitting his receivers. And he goes, he said, man, those balls were ugly. And he was talking about that guy's a breath of fresh air. He is fun to watch, and, man, he is lights out. It's fun to watch him play, so congrats to the Baltimore Ravens. Hell, the 49ers, I've been happy to watch you too, but I was really looking forward to this game. I'm really behind the Ravens this year because with Lamar Jackson playing back there, that brand of football and their defense is so lights out, they're just a blast to watch. Then I came back to the house after doing my good deed for the day, and I'll get back to that here in just a second. Caught the back half of the Los Angeles Rams against the Cardinals, and holy shit, after getting torched by the Ravens, it woke up the damn Rams, and they had a game plan for Kyler Murray, who's really, dual threat quarterback as well and really quick on his feet. But, oh, man, Wade Phillips put together a masterpiece, and damn, you talk about it looked like a completely different team from the Rams that I've seen damn near all season. Maybe it was a wake-up call, and Sean McVay also had something to do with that as well, and Jared Goff played well. And it seemed like the guys were playing with a lot more sense of urgency and just hair on fire, go get them football. So I watched that game, and then what was the other game I watched? Hell, I can't even remember. Boy, it was an interesting day for the LA Rams because that was a different football team that's been playing. So we'll see what happens from there. But hell, I got a phone call today from my wife, and it turns out her friend was over at IKEA about 50 miles away, and her SUV broke down on her. So they went over to the damn auto parts store, and a dude came over there and tried to jump the SUV off. And he hooked the batteries up to the wrong terminals. How did he do that? He hooked it up to something. I think he shorted out something in the electrical system. Finally, another guy from the damn store goes over there. They couldn't jump the car off. And so the guy rehooks up the battery cables to the terminals, the correct areas where you need to hook the battery cables, and successfully jumped off the car. But the car had several indicator lights on and needed to be driven directly to the shop that I recommended, my guy Robert, over there at the Shell station. So anyway, my wife says, well, hell, because this lady has a child and she works a job, she needed a car. She goes, well, I guess I'm just going to go get a rent-a-car. And Kristen says, no, you don't need to go get a rent-a-car. She goes, just borrow Steve's Ford Focus. And she said, oh, no, I can't borrow Steve's Ford Focus. He loves that car. And my wife says, no, he'd be glad to lend it to you. Just you don't need to rent a car. Just go there and get the car. If you don't believe it, just call Steve and ask him. So sure enough, my phone rings, and it's my wife's friend, and she says, Steve, are you sure it's okay if I borrow the Ford Focus? I said, of course it is. I said, the car is yours to take. I said, I'm going to be mad at you if you go get a rent-a-car. I said, this thing is trusty, dependable, and it'll get you where you need to go. I said, you don't need to spend no money and waste it on a rent-a-car. So I was over here getting it ready for her, and her brother drops her off. And there I was, unplugging my trickle charger off the battery of my damn Ford Focus, brushing off the leaves, showing her how all the controls worked. Ain't a whole lot of controls. It's just 2 keys, a key that you use and a spare key in case she loses it. Showed her how to work everything. She put her little child seat in the back, and I told her, I said, that front left tire could use a little bit of air. I was going to put some air in it myself, but I didn't get around to it, and it's got a 1/4 tank of gas. And by the way, those windshield wipers are a little bit ragged, so if it starts raining, you're going to be kind of SOL, so hopefully it doesn't rain. Well, her brother offered to put on some new windshield wipers. I said, well, if you put them on, I'll pay you for them. So anyway, my good deed of the day was lending out my trusty 2003 Ford Focus, metallic pea green, quarter tank of gas, just run 85 in it. Ain't no sense in running 87, 89, 91. Put the cheapest low-grade gasoline you put in that little bastard. That little green bastard will just run like a just speckled trout. So I'm happy. If you see someone cruising around out here in a 2003 Ford Focus, it's probably my car, and she's probably proudly driving it. My buddy Robert probably have her SUV up and running tomorrow, the next day. I'm figuring by the time she gets through driving that damn Ford Focus, she's going to fall so in love with it and be so enamored with it, she's going to want to buy it off of me. Anyway, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother podcast. But anyway, I was just happy that I could, that damn car's got 65,000 miles on it. I can walk to all my meetings. I really don't need that damn car. I'll just drive my damn Yukon if I got to. That long stretch, that son of a bitch ain't no good in Los Angeles traffic, but I got an extra car. I just like that Ford Focus. But I digress, man. Back to business. It's time to go get ready to make a Broken Skull Ranch margarita with this Don Julio Blanco tequila that Bull James bought me. I'm watching Sunday Night Football. I'm going to try to tune in a little bit to the WWE Network and watch the pay-per-view at Starrcade or whatever it is tonight. So I want to see some of those matches. And while I'm speaking about the WWE Network, before I get cranked up here with Bull James on the podcast, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the WWE Network and watching the Broken Skull sessions with Steve Austin, myself, and the one and only legendary Undertaker, one of the greatest of all times. I just read some of the reports on the news that thing did an outstanding, crazy number of views, downloads, streams, whatever it is that it does on the network, that everybody really supported that thing in strong fashion. So, man, I appreciate Undertaker for coming on, and we barely even scratched the surface, man. It was like a bullshit session. I got a bunch of questions lined up that we didn't even get to. So if we get part 2 out of him, I'm looking forward to him coming back. But I want to thank you for turning on the WWE Network. And I'm reading my social media and my Twitter and my Instagram. A lot of people signed up for the network just because of the Broken Skull Sessions, the conversation that Mark and I were going to have. So I hope you enjoy the network, and I hope you keep it, because I'll be back with some more of these shows, and I'm looking forward to doing part 2 and hopefully a part 3 with the dead man himself, The Undertaker. Thanks to everybody very much for watching. With that, I say, let's turn our ears to my conversation with young professional wrestler Bull James. And I can't even remember if I said this now. I've been talking so long. When Bull came over, he brought some Don Julio Blanco tequila, a fifth indeed. Normally I drink Patron Silver, but this time, tonight, I'm making Don Julio Blanco Broken Skull Ranch margaritas. And cheers to Bull James, who is on a tour of Japan. Thank you, Bull. You didn't have to do it, but I'm glad you did. Are you out there doing all the right stuff to live that long life we all want? Sleeping 8 hours a night, eating all the right stuff, getting your ass in the gym 4 more times a week. After all that hard work, don't you think it's time you were financially rewarded for your commitment to a healthy lifestyle? Then check out our new sponsor, Health IQ. Health IQ uses science and data to secure lower rates for people like you on their life insurance. If you're a runner, a cyclist, in a CrossFit, or another type of athlete, you deserve to be rewarded for your hard work with more affordable life insurance rates. Health IQ can save you up to 41% because physically active people have significantly lower risks for heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. These savings are exclusive to Health IQ. You won't find them anywhere else, and you must qualify to get a special rate. To see if you qualify, head over to healthiq.com/Steve to take the proprietary Health IQ quiz. Depending upon your score, as well as other related qualifying factors, you can save up to 41% on your life insurance premiums compared to other providers. Again, that's healthiq.com/Steve to get started with the Health IQ quiz. There's no commitment, and you'll learn even more about potential opportunities to be rewarded for your commitment to healthy living. healthiq.com/Steve. Live well, get rewarded.
The Steve Austin Show. The Steve Austin Show.
Yeah, ladies, sitting here just Trying to decide what to do. We're going to call this some bitch on the fly. I got Bull James sitting across the table from me over here at the Broken Skull Studios. Are you still Bull James? Is it Bull Dempsey? Tell me what has changed since the last time we talked.
I am still Bull James.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
How you doing out here in the mean streets of Los Angeles? Man, I saw you were coming into town. Answer the question.
Yeah, no, I came into town. We did a wrestling event at the Comedy Store, which was so badass. It was awesome.
I wanted to come to that.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'll start asking these long-winded questions. But I got a picture of that card right here on my computer, and I wanted to talk to half the card that was there, including you.
Yeah, no, it was great.
We got back on the what's the day? We got back on the 25th.
Yeah.
So 2 days after the event. And I was like, God dang, I missed everybody. And all of a sudden you reached out to me via text. I was like, God dang, yes. I got a chance to talk to somebody. And I enjoyed our first conversation. So
yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Good to see you, man.
No, it's good to see you.
Tell me about the card. How was it?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I wrestled David Arquette. I came out as the Shockmaster. And tripped and fell. Yep.
As a shoot?
Yep.
As a rib? As a rib, it was a shoot? What was it?
The comedians, Tony Hinchcliffe and his crew, they do a podcast, and their favorite clip of all time is the Shockmaster. So it was just a little shout out to like what their fans normally listen to them talk about.
God dang, dude. I don't know how many times I've watched that, and, God dang, who was that? Fred Ottman?
Yeah.
And Fred's still with us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. God dang, the most embarrassing thing that could have ever happened on I mean, as far as, just because they're trying to come out with the push.
Yeah.
And then, he falls down, whatever the story. Do you know what the real story was?
The one that they always put on the network and everything, and that they always say is that there was a wooden beam at the bottom, and they didn't tell him about it, or he didn't see it because of the mask, and he tripped over that when he busted through the wall.
I remember one of the boys told him when he got up to New York. No, it was when he was still in WCW. Guy said, put his arm around him and says, don't worry about it. Maybe nobody saw it. The whole world saw it. And it's the more times I watched it, just the harder I laughed. And I don't wish, ill will or
no, not at all. But
nobody. But a fluke is a fluke. Hey man, I shit my pants over in Australia or wherever or South Africa or wherever it was. So I mean, things happen, and that just happened to him. And it was so visual, but. The thing that really compounded it was the blue jeans, the cowboy boots, the hokey robe that they put him in. Their wardrobe was
the stormtrooper helmet with the glitter on it.
With the glitter on it.
Yep.
It was just not a great thought process to coming out with.
And there were a lot of top guys on that stage waiting for him to come out.
Have you ever watched that clip and you sit there and if you listen, you can hear Davey Boy, you can hear Booker T and Stevie. They're all saying something.
Yeah.
And you can hear Davey Boy with that thick Manchester accent. He fell flat on his fucking ass. He goes, oh, shit, I knew it, Sid. And then there's Ole back there doing the voiceover. Yeah. And Sid's just stepping all over him because, I don't care who you are, boy. With that Arkansas accent coming through. I was like, holy shit, this is
I'm just happy it wasn't me.
Yeah, God dang. That made Stunning Steve look like a goddamn greatest gimmick in the world. So you wrestled David Arquette. How was that?
Yeah, it was great. He's been wrestling for like the last year and a half. He's filming a documentary about him coming back to wrestling. I think they just wrapped it up. But, and it's cool. He's very trusting and wanting to learn and doesn't just want to use his name to get out there. He's actually trying to do his best.
I can't understand. I appreciate his love of the business and probably a little bit of infatuation with the business because the guy's a talented actor and he could stay as busy as he wants in the acting world. I know he does some producing and stuff like that or production, whatever the word is I'm trying to think of, but he ain't doing this because he needs the money.
Right. Yeah, he just loves it.
He could do anything else and make money. Yeah. His whole family was into acting.
Yeah.
So how was the match? Was it a 5-star classic?
Well, it depends on your interpretation of a 5-star classic.
Who called this illustrious event?
I did.
All right. Hey, talk to me about, in 1 second, you came over and you sent that text message and you said, hey, man, I'm in town, but I'm fixing to head to Japan. If you want to drink a beer or something. I said, hell, I'm heading back from Nevada. I'll call you. And we called and come over, drink a beer, and do a podcast. So here we are.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you the question I was going to ask you, but I said, were you serious about drinking beer? And you said, yeah. And it's only 12:24 where we're at, but it's 5 o'clock somewhere. And for all you lame son bitches out there that needed a 5 o'clock excuse, go jump in a lake. I don't give a shit what time it is. I got Bull James over here. He's about to try Broken Skull IPA. You've had it before, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
So you're okay with the IPA, but you're not a traditional IPA guy.
No, I'm not. I'm very at home in an old man bar with a Bud Light and Jack Daniels. So
And he went, cheers. Here's to you.
Here's to you.
This is me and Bull swigging down some Broken Skull.
That's the good stuff.
Man, if you don't drink this golden elixir and that puts a smile on your face and you're an IPA fan, there's something very, very wrong with you. That's a good fucking beer. And I ain't just saying it because I'm involved with it. I mean, shit, but it was built to my taste buds.
Yeah.
Me and the owner sat around a table smaller than this. We had 10, 12, 15 beers, and we'd sit there and drink them, and I'd give him notes. And we came out with this batch, and he came out with the batch on the first formula. But anyway, that's how the beer was born. And
it is delightful.
And it's growing. There's big plans for 2020 with this thing. But so back to you and David Arquette.
Yeah.
You go out there and have a match. What kind of time you guys going to put in?
We did about 8 to 10 between the whole Shockmaster entrance and everything.
How'd that get over the crowd?
The people that knew it got it. And
what about the people that didn't know it? They brushed, hey, man, this dude tripped and busted his ass.
Yeah, they laughed anyway. Yeah. But I ditched the mask pretty early on once I fell and then just said, screw this, and went in there and teased a body slam, and he finally slammed me, got the big reaction, and went home. So
what was finish?
He hit me with a diamond cutter.
The diamond cutter?
Yep.
Was he successful?
He was successful.
Damn it, man. You got to talk to the booker. Who booked this show?
Tony Hinchcliffe, who is one of the top comedians at the Comedy Store, does a lot of stuff for Comedy Central on their roasts and everything. It was him along with Enzo. Had a piece of it, too, with as far as, like, getting talent for Tony.
What's Enzo doing these days?
He's still rapping. I think he's had a couple matches back now, wrestling-wise. I think he's starting to put his feet in the water a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, he's just staying busy between L.A. and New York.
God dang. From one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
From left coast to the right coast.
Yeah.
God dang. The east-west thing, man. I've been out here for 15 years, and all of my buddies from South Texas are like, God damn, how did you last so long out there? How are you still out there? The people that know me, coming from Edna, Texas. And
that's why you got the ranch, right?
It's a means to an end. Well, I sold that ranch, and I'm in Nevada now, but I still got the public land to ride around on and just get all this shit. But LA's been good to me. I can't complain about it. But, dude, where are you from? Jersey?
New York.
New York?
Yep.
Guys, what I'm going to ask you, when you're there, it's different than someone visiting because home is home.
Right.
And that's what you know.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love LA for what it is. I love New York for what it is.
Yeah.
But once I go there, man, in 3 days, I've had a gutful.
Yeah.
Done some media or whatever and then get out of Dodge. So when you come to LA, do you dig it out here?
Yeah, I mean, this is my first time really out here and getting to walk around and see stuff and be a part of stuff. Like, I mean, just being in the Comedy Store alone was awesome because, we're walking around backstage and I look on the wall and there's all signatures on the wall and I see Sam Kinnison's name on the wall. And just being a part of that history in some small way is really cool.
Hey, man, what kind of crowd do you guys have?
It was pretty packed. There's maybe about 200 people in there, which for that room is near capacity. But, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Everybody was just there to have a good time. There was, nobody was being one of those fans that's trying to take over the show.
Was it a wrestling crowd or a comic crowd?
It was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice mix.
Going out there to work with David, how's the skills coming along? Because how long has he been doing this now?
I mean, just for the last year and a half, maybe once every couple months. So I know he goes to a school out here and rolls around and trains and tries to just learn some basics. But he was fine. I talked to him the whole time and he was just trying to keep him even keeled and not getting right up and freezing, like, deer in headlights. But
does he get nervous out there?
I think he was a little nervous, but I think once he felt, how I was moving him around and everything, he realized I wasn't going to hurt him.
Did he think he was going to hurt? Did he think you were going to hurt him?
I don't know. I know he had a match out here, actually, maybe a year ago, and they put him in some hardcore match. And he
I remember that.
Yeah, and so I think since then he's been a little gun shy with people he doesn't really know.
Man, I called around to a few of my sources and connections. I said, hey, man, I got Bull James coming over to kick it with me for a little bit. What's the word on the street? What's the reputation with this guy? And they said, hey, he's just a shooter. He's vicious. He'll hook you. He'll take cheap shots, and he's nasty with the blade. How have you overcome all of these bad? I'm just kidding.
I've been called worse by better.
God damn. What a dagger shot to the liver. Thanks, Bull. Touche. I'll be over in the corner. Just keep talking. So did you go out there and try to have a scientific clinic or some guy involved? I mean, what's the vibe? You come out with the Shockmaster thing, and then you're working with David.
Yeah. I mean, I think with anything that's either comedy or some sort of gimmick, I think the way it's always worked best for me is front loading that stuff, then getting to some heat, but then the comeback has to be somewhat serious, if not completely serious, because you're just being taken heat for how long, it's time to kick ass.
So were you working heel or baby?
Heel, but...
What do you prefer? Because I've seen you I was watching a couple of your matches on YouTube, and you kind of go back and forth between the heel and baby, I guess, depending on where you're working.
Yeah, depending on the crowd or where I'm at, but I like both. I get satisfaction out of both and getting the right reaction or the desired reaction out of each thing that I do. I like calling matches from underneath on the fly, just to keep myself fresh and on my toes, and to just...
How often do you get a chance to do that? That's a lost art.
I did it last...
And you're doing it so you don't lose it.
Yeah, and I think the last time I did it was with MJF, and he was still really, really green and nervous. So to me, it was the perfect opportunity to do that, and it was on like a camp show, so the footage wasn't going anywhere if it turned out terrible. But I think it helps me as far as keep myself on my toes, but I also like doing it for the younger guys and girls, because they get a chance to experience it where it's not like how it used to be where that was every night. They don't really get a chance to have somebody that knows how to go in there and go, hey, just listen, I got this, and walk them through it.
Man, you've been, what have you been doing this since 05?
Yeah, 05.
Okay, it's 19. It took me a while to think of that. The process is working a little slow. Could you wrap that steel chair around my head? It usually gets me thinking a little bit quicker. So all that time, and grew up a fan of the business.
Yeah.
Now that you're traveling all over the world, you're working on the indie scene, you're about to go to Japan tomorrow for how long?
For 1 month.
What has changed in the business since you started and became a student of the business and noticed the trends and everything that's going on? Because you have ties to a super old school wrestler and a guy who mentored me, not as much as you, but Matt Bourne.
Yeah. But Matt, I don't like the misconception by people now that all the old timers are carnies and they're out to get you. To me, at least from what I learned from Matt, was that those guys really did all stick together and look out for each other for the most part. Yeah, there's going to be some squabbles and whatnot, but I feel like that's the biggest thing, is that brotherhood is kind of waning. There's cliques, or it's just not a common togetherness, I think. And I think that needs to change.
But what about with respect to in-ring style? Because, going back to what you were describing a little bit about that David Arquette match, I mean, you're talking about a shine, well, and you didn't say it in detail, but, old school formula, a little shine, some heat, a couple of hope spots, come back, go home. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a fuck job, or, something quick, babyface maybe over the heel, and get out of town.
Yeah.
But these days, when I watch, a lot of the companies, it's just a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more stand-up brawling. And I turned to a brawler. I forgot, dropped on my head, and that's cool. But it's distinctly different, in my opinion, than from that classic that will always be there, Savage Steamboat from 3.
Yeah. I think, again, just my opinion, but there's nothing wrong with knowing your spot on the card. And not every match needs 20 false finishes. I think that you need to have a little bit for everybody, but you also need, little breathers here and there in between the 20-minute classics. You need a 5-minute squash. You need, a big guy or girl against a little guy or girl, and all sorts. It's the circus, right? It's still always going to be that. But I think if every match goes out there and does 20 minutes, you're just going to wear the people out. And by the end of the night, they're not going to remember half the stuff they saw.
What have you done since you started, and how have you changed? Or have you just progressed and you are where you're at? Or do you watch the trends?
I watch the trends.
Did you turn into a high flyer?
No.
Everybody's fucking flying these days. There's 300-400 pounders and flying around these days. I'm not going to say any names, but god dang, the ground is your friend.
If they can do it, then God bless them, and I wish them the best. I physically can't, but I also want to be doing this for a long time. And without that longevity, you know, there's a much less chance of making money.
A couple times, you know, I'd drop an axe handle off the second and third rope, or, you know, I'd drop an elbow, you know, off the second, you know, a forearm, really. But, man, I realize I'm 250, you know, if I'm drinking a lot, 260, you know, in ring shape and with the bad knees. In doses, pick your spots. When you get on the backside of a career or you're done like I am, you know, and I've been done for a long time, you watch people as, you know, I watch some of these bigger guys do some of these more athletic things that the business has evolved into, and I'm like, man, one of these days, because all the veterans always tell you, I don't know if Matt Bourne ever told you, say, man, pick your spots or you only got so many bumps on your bump card.
Yeah.
And that's a shoot.
Yeah. No, Matt was really protective like that, just with, you know, working smart and being safe, but also like thinking shoot but working, instead of just pre-planning a bunch of stuff and going out there with a game plan. Like, that's great, go out there with a game plan, but you have to be able to change with the crowd too.
I always love when you hear that thanks shoot would work. Yeah. Because in some theory, yeah, it does make sense. Mm-hmm. But then also
it's out the window half the time.
Yeah, sometimes it does, but then you really got to throw it out the window, because if you really thought shoot the whole time,
you're not shooting anybody into the ropes.
You wouldn't be able to tell much of a story. Why would I ever do that? I wouldn't. Okay, then we don't. Okay, so where's the match?
Right.
Well, why would you hit the ropes if you – because everybody else hit the motherfuckers. Oh, so who are you going to Japan for?
I'm going over there for DDT.
Explain this to me.
So DDT,
all the fractions and the splitting off from back in the old days of just All Japan and New Japan.
Yeah. DDT for a while was known just for a lot of their comedy stuff. It's where Joey Ryan first did his infamous flip.
Yep.
They have a young roster.
Where do you stand on that? Because a lot of people are just, man, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
I think it's high risk. Someone could be seriously hurt, and it needs to
it's very dangerous.
I'm kidding. No. Joey was on the show. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Go back to the.
No, I think there's a place for.
Oh, absolutely.
But
although it is very dangerous. Keep going.
Yeah, just be careful. Be careful.
I'll be over here in the corner.
But you know, they're known for a lot of the comedy and outrageousness that they do, but their young crop of guys are actually really, really talented, and they're just good wrestlers. And when I got off the plane in March for my first tour, I had a Bruiser Brody shirt on. Takagi-san, who's the president of DDT, he saw the T-shirt and tweeted me that Bruiser Brody was his favorite wrestler growing up. And I was like, oh, we're going to get along just fine then. Went out there the first night and tried to do as much as I could just to show them I wasn't there to be lazy or complacent. And he came and grabbed me, Takagi did, and said, you know, hey, I know you can do all that. I just want you to go out there, look strong, take one bump, hit your finish. Okay, I can do that.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir, I'm in. You've seen my work. All right. But they treated me great. And, you know, to me, my goal was to get to Japan and then also to get brought back, because that's the ultimate sign that you did the right thing. So to be brought back within a year, I think is a good sign and a good thing. And I appreciate them always looking out for me and bringing me over there.
Yeah, you know, when you go over to, it's like I was talking to Taker, you know, he was talking about an early part of his career where, hey, man, you can't afford to have any bad matches at that point. I mean, you know, you never want a bad match, but really when you're trying to make a name for yourself,
first impressions.
So, you go over to Japan and you have a string of bad matches, they ain't bringing your ass back.
Yeah.
And I never forget when I used to go over there. It only went 3 times, but one was a 3-week tour and a couple were just 1 or 2 shot deals. But it's like, hey, man, the pressure's on because you're in a different place. You got a limited window here to show what you can do, and they're going to dig it or they ain't.
Yeah.
And if you don't get back, like I said, man, I mean, you just got the door slammed in your face because you didn't make an impression and they didn't think much of your work. Or you were just a complete asshole and a hard person to deal with. And from all accounts, I've heard rumors. Bull, I'm kidding you. Swig a beer here. Tell me about the tour. How many dates you going to be working over there? If you can be working a month, how often will you guys be working, and how are you getting transported to all these different shows?
It is 11 shows, and I believe I'll be doing like 3 or 4 seminars at their dojo because I did that the last time, and they seemed to get enough out of it. With I needed a translator to get to reach most of them with what I was trying to say to them, but they wanted to pick up on what WWE was doing at the Performance Center, at least when I was there, and learn kind of more of the American style, just to see the differences and learn a new style so that they're more well-rounded. So I'll get to do that, which I think is pretty cool too. When
I used to go there, man, they'd have the young boys out there shooting on each other in the ring before the show started. Mm-hmm. And those guys were all very technical, or shoot wrestling based. And then, they work pretty goddamn snug. And finally, somebody smartens them up. It's like, it ain't got to be this way, because, guys like Mota and Hase, I mean, they were like working with, like Ricky Morton.
Yeah.
Everything looked good, but nothing hurt.
Yeah.
And those other kids I just beat, they're flying shit out of each other. Like, hey, brother, easy. There's an easier way.
Do I owe you money?
Yeah. So what are they looking for out of your school? I mean, when you put on the clinics?
I think just different drills, but also like what the psychology is, as far as American wrestling now and even old school. And like, I'll try to, I try to tell them how, hey, this was the way I was taught, but now this is the way things are. Here's the differences, and here's how you can kind of mesh the two. It's hard to do with the language barrier, but it helps having the translator there. So at least as long as some of it gets through, I feel like they're getting something out of it.
Man, I always wanted to learn Japanese because I was going to go over there. And I figured, I wasn't going to places I really wanted to go in WCW. And back in the day, Terry Bam Bam Gordy, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, those guys, Brody, they had those sweet deals that they'd go for 15 weeks and, make crazy money. Yeah. And then they'd come back, and I was thinking, hey, man, maybe I could be one of those guys. And, I bought me, it's when I was living in Atlanta, and I bought me one of those 12 or 16 cassette recorder language things. Yeah. And, shit, I got, Simose and I would listen to them damn tapes. And I don't know if it works for anybody else, or if y'all got any recommendations for me, shoot me an email to question@steveaustinShow.com, because I don't know, I got a short attention span, but I listen to one cassette tape, and the rest of them, some of it's brand new. I threw them away a long time ago, but I didn't comprende.
Yeah, it's tough to learn.
Do you speak any of it?
I've picked up like 3 or 4 words that I have down, but everything else is very choppy, and I need my phone a lot for it. Or
I know how to cuss in several languages. But I specialize in the English language, and I can botch that up better than anybody. But I got a couple of cuss words, but other than that, I ain't worth a damn.
Yeah, and they're so respectful over there. I feel bad even saying a cuss word over there. So,
but I know they're cool. But you know what? It's funny though, because like back in the day when we were going over, if you're trying to explain a match to them, and like it's a cool spot, that's one thing that they'll get it. But if it's something that doesn't really do, there's that language
barrier pops back in.
It's like a work, right?
Yeah.
And it's probably the same thing with going to Mexico or whatever. Maybe if there's a language gap, you're like, hey man, it seemed like when he's working with so and so, everything they understand. I go to explain something they
don't know a word.
Somebody's ribbing me.
I heard Tajiri was like that.
Oh yeah,
he would always rib people.
Yeah,
he told me.
Hey, what are you going to do when you get back? I mean, like, how busy you staying on the indie scene? Are you as busy as you want to be?
I mean, I'll always take more work if it's there because it's what I love to do. But I'm going straight from Japan. I'm going to the UK for 3 weeks to start off the new year, and then heading back here to the States, and then just filling up my schedule, as it comes. And I love the freedom of being on the independents, doing what I want to do and having my own schedule and stuff. And I like that a lot. I value that.
Going to another foreign country, do you speak English? Ribbing you. I cut you off.
But no, it's fine. It's obviously if there's an opportunity with a bigger company, it's not something that I'm going to sneeze at or not take seriously.
How's the style over there in England? Because when I see, God dang, that guy that I really like his work, Zack Sabre.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking like all those technicians. Yeah, that guy does some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So stylistically, will you just bring the Bull James style and do you, or will you branch out a little bit over there? What do they want from you, and what are they doing over there that's different from the States?
I just take it opponent by opponent. I would love to wrestle a guy like Zach because in the Performance Center, I got trained by Norman Smiley and Robbie Brookside, and Regal and Fit have always been like super, super supportive of me, and they've always looked out for me and taught me little things. So I would love to try to test that out against somebody like Zach. But it takes two to tango, and if somebody else isn't really there for that, then maybe it's something I'll shy away from and just play towards their strengths.
When'd you get a chance to rub shoulders with all the guys you just mentioned? Because I got big respect for all those guys.
Yeah, Norman and Robbie are coaches at the Performance Center, and I spent a lot of time with them when I was there. William Regal is one of the reasons I got hired, just from seeing me as an extra and watching my promos and my matches, and he just took a liking to me and pushed for me without even knowing me. So that, to me, that was always like a really, really cool feather in my cap, was knowing that I earned his respect and that he would want to do that.
With the holidays upon us, now is the time for gift shopping, gift giving, and festive parties. The last thing you should be doing with your time is hauling your carcass around town to get all your office supplies in order. Well, our friends at Zorro.com are here to lend a hand because they got everything you need for your office in one place. Zorro.com, spelled Z-O-R-O, is where you'll find everything you need for businesses of any size and almost any industry. Electrical, plumbing, contracting, manufacturing. Don't sweat it because Zorro has you covered. Zorro.com has tools and equipment, safety and office supplies, cleaning items, and more for brands you know and trust, such as Stanley, 3M, Milwaukee, Schneider, and Rubbermaid, just to name a few. Zorro.com offers amazing customer service from real people based in the U.S., and you'll dig the fast, free shipping on orders of $50 or more. Just for listeners to the Steve Austin Show, visit Zorro.com/Austin to sign up for Z-Mail and get 15% off your first order. Again, that's Zorro.com/Austin for 15% off your first order. Zorro.com/Austin. Get it all in one place. Hey, you all know about my history with Iron Mike Tyson, so it's my privilege to welcome his podcast, Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson, to the PodcastOne family. Join Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet, as he pours his soul into conversations with fascinating minds, celebrities, and athletes, along with his cosmic millennial sidekick and former NFL athlete, Eben Britton. Iron Mike dives deep into the issues impacting us all today. This podcast will change the way you see the world. Don't miss Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson every week on Apple Podcasts and PodcastOne. Make sure you tell your friends about the show and leave a rating and review.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
When you go there to Japan or to England, and you've yet to go to both places, but in the past, like what kind of time are they mostly looking for you to do?
It depends. I mean, I've had a lot of 8-minute matches.
What's the longest match you've ever worked?
In front of a crowd, probably around like 40 or 45.
Same here. I've never been an hour.
Yeah, I've done it at my wrestling school and stuff. I've taken some of the younger kids and I'll roll around, and I'll make them do the hour on the fly just to show them that, hey, it's not what you think it is. It's not.
What do you think it is?
I think it's, you have to tell different stories with different body parts, and that helps kind of break up the time, and it keeps the internal clock, okay, got 10 minutes on the arm, 10 minutes on the leg, 10 minutes on the back. Every comeback would be 3 of the things that I did to my baby face. And then the last 10 minutes, trade back and forth with some false finishes and get to either a draw or whatever you want to get out of it.
What's your sweet spot on time? Because as I look back, anytime I was on, and I guess if you want to go back on the network or whatever and time out my matches, you could.
The stopwatch.
It seemed to me my sweet spot was anywhere, take out the entrances and the aftermath, but just as far as working, 16 to 20, 22 minutes was probably a real good sweet spot for me. The bald-headed dude with the goatee and the black trunks and the black boots and the knee braces and about 3 moves.
Yeah.
And that's about all I needed.
Yeah.
Where are you at?
I don't get a lot of opportunities to go 20. Just, again, with some of these indie shows, either it's too many matches on the card, so everybody needs to go 6 or everybody needs to go 8, or it's just a situation where it's not given to me. I'm usually getting 8 to 12. But I enjoy 15 to 20 because I feel like that old school, like I'll warm up in the first couple minutes. And then once the juices start flowing, it starts escalating and going. But around like 15 to 20, I feel is a strong point for me, which I get to do in Japan a lot, just not so much in America. And I don't know if it's people's attention spans or the promoters wanting shorter matches or whatever the case is.
Are you one of those guys that always got to get your trademark shit in?
I don't have any. So if I did, sure, but I don't have any. So
when you've been to Japan how many times?
Once.
Okay, so they're going back. Do you anticipate that you guys going to be calling everything in the back and then just going out and doing it, or bullet points, or filling the gaps? What's the story over there now?
I think it just depends on how much we can communicate, myself and whoever I'm wrestling. If they speak better English than some of the other guys, I feel like then we can work out some stuff maybe towards the back end and see what there is. And if they don't speak any English and I don't speak the right Japanese for them, then maybe we'll have to pre-plan a little bit more just to have some bullet points to go by so that nobody gets lost or there's no miscommunication.
You brought my old buddy, Steve Regal, William Regal, whatever you want to call him, and me and him used to travel together. We would stay together when we were filming those WCW tapings down in Orlando, and we'd go out to Kissimmee and to this Rover's Return pub, this English bar, and we'd throw darts all night long and drink Guinness. But Regal was one of those guys where he didn't have to say anything to anybody. He could walk in there with anybody that was a hand, had any kind of wherewithal, even if you didn't. Regal could work with someone and not say a word, and he could go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, just by manipulation, putting himself in hold, putting the other guy on top. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It can be done if you know how to do it. And all those guys from England are just so well versed in that chain type wrestling. And of course, Regal and Finley, those guys were kind of specialists at it. But it is amazing what you can do with no communication.
Yeah, that was something I really learned a lot from all those guys, was just controlling somebody, not manhandling them to where you're going to hurt them, but just controlling them enough to put them in a position that, I'm moving them around, but they're going to wind up on top at the end of it. And to me, that's like some of my favorite stuff, because they don't even know that they're getting put over at the end of it. They're looking around like, what just happened? And how do I have a hold?
How'd I get here? This is cool. Man, I'm doing pretty good. How often are you conducting your school if you're traveling as much as you're traveling?
Well, when I'm back in the States, I'm there Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday I'm there if I'm not booked somewhere working. When I'm gone, like this trip, there's a lot of people there that step in and help out. Matt Stryker comes down a lot because it's close by for him, and he worked for the company is NYWC. They've been around for about 20 years now. It was Mikey Whipwreck's at first, and Mikey moved out to Pennsylvania, and Tony Nese was running the school. And when I got released, Tony had gotten signed, so it was the perfect crossing of ships, and it worked out. So, but, Stryker comes down and helps out. Mikey's still around on the show days every month, so he comes and helps out the younger guys too, and girls.
Dude, you're a bigger dude, but kind of everything starts the same as far as when you're breaking new guys in. Mm-hmm. How do you start? Here comes the crop.
Yeah.
And then tell me, like, how you're going to start this process.
I'm big on the first 2 or 3 months. They'll be on the floor, learning how to lock up, learning some basics, some holds and stuff. But I want everybody that walks in there to respect the fact that they're able to step in a wrestling ring. So I don't usually let them in the ring for a couple months. If they're there for a week and flake out, then I feel better knowing that they never got in a ring. I want everybody to earn it. And then from there, just going into rolls and bumps and hitting the ropes, and a slow progression of, when you're ready, we'll move on to the next thing. When you master one thing, we'll go to the next. I don't want to rush anybody through and have somebody out there that's underprepared or unprepared. If they're going to have my name on them, then I want people to know they're getting in there with somebody that's going to take care of them and do business and do the right thing.
It's an interesting business to try to learn and try to pick up, and the mechanics are, first, like you said, learning how to fall, bumping, and then a little bit of chain wrestling, stuff like that. Man, it didn't come easy for me. And there's one guy in the school, I went to Chris Adams Wrestling School, and there's one guy in the class named Todd. Man, he was just picking up everything. It was just second nature. And I was just like, God dang, why can't I get this? Well, what do you do when you have a kid or a person, a man, young man, woman, whatever, they just ain't quite picking it up at the pace everybody else is. Because I was that guy that lagged behind, and I was trying like a motherfucker.
Yeah. It's tough because I'm never going to tell somebody that they're not made for this because I don't know. Who am I to say that? And they could show up one day and they fit a character and all of a sudden they're booked as an extra. The next day they're on Raw.
But I mean, you're not flipping your wig. God damn, you can't pick, is you?
No. I think with each person is they're their own person. So they need to be coached a specific way. Some people take to the drill sergeant mentality and some people don't. So I think you just have to be cognizant of the person you're dealing with and, give them some anecdotes, maybe something that kind of opens their eyes to what you're talking about and explains it in a different light and just reaches them in a different way. Or maybe it takes somebody else coming in, when guys come in and do seminars and stuff, maybe it's that person saying the same message that I am just in their own way and it clicks.
What are you telling these kids when they come in, just as far as, their work style and you're teaching basics? Mm-hmm. You're not teaching a bunch of top rope maneuvers and stuff like that because, I mean, to me, that's something you gravitate towards, or seemingly, in my estimation, you're teaching basic fundamentals. Yeah. And you kind of learn on the job, and then you really create and hone your style and add in the bells and whistles, right?
Yeah. And I've been fortunate enough to do some seminars alongside Les Thatcher. And he's just, the way he explains things are amazing to me. Like I can sit there and learn along with people I'm supposed to be teaching too. So it's cool. It's like a double whammy.
It's interesting because I've heard Les Thatcher's name a whole lot. And of course I used to know Les way back in the day when I was a little bit more frequent in that area of the United States. And he's one of those guys, and it's kind of a real general statement about anything, explaining anything. The easier or the simplest way to explain something is done when someone really knows the mastery of whatever subject it is. Mm-hmm. It's like someone can just be long-winded and trying to tell the same thing, where like a Les Thatcher can just very succinctly say exactly what you're trying to get across. Right. Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. He's great like that. Nick Dinsmore is somebody else who is... He's one of the best coaches I had too, just at the Performance Center and stuff and throughout my career, because he was so to the point, direct, and funny. So like it made you remember it more for some reason because it just made you laugh.
When you're out there and you have a chance to watch television, are you watching any of the action that's out there right now? With so much wrestling out there, with SmackDown moving to Friday, Raw staying there, you have the Wednesday Night Wars, the Wednesday night competition, should I say, AEW and NXT going on USA Network. You've got NWA Power on YouTube. They still have Ring of Honor, still have Impact. I have a hard time finding them. I just hit the record button on Ring of Honor last night when I was flipping channels trying to find a football game, so I found that. To answer the question, I mean, do you watch anything? What are you watching? What do you think of the scene? I
try to watch as much as possible. A, because I want to keep up with what's going on. B, because I have friends in those companies and want to keep up with what they're doing. And C, because, the goal is to work for one of those companies. So if I don't watch what they're doing and keep an eye on, I'm doing myself a disservice, if I get an opportunity with anybody. Right. So it's just in my best interest to keep up with everything. So I do my best to DVR or stream or whatever I can do and watch, everything that's out there.
Have you seen any of the NWA Power stuff on YouTube?
I love it.
I do too. Yeah, it's awesome. I want to sway your opinion. Yeah. I dig it. You got that old school feel to it.
Yeah, and it just seems like it's a little bit of a slower pace and a slower burn to get in the stories and stuff, which, I think that's what helped us in the early days of NXT, was we had a slow build to stuff and we let stuff play out over the course of the show. And I think they're doing a really good job of that. I think that whole crew is busting their asses. They're doing great.
Have you got a chance to watch any of the AEW stuff?
Yeah.
What do you think stylistically of what they're doing? And just as a big picture? I think I've heard the opinions and stuff of, they need to slow down, they need to do this. And sure, but there's guys and girls on that show that will slow it down. Like Sean Spears is going to go out there and go 100 miles an hour for 20 minutes. Cody, it doesn't work that style. Dustin's not doing that. So I think it goes back to, you need a little bit of everything for everybody. And they're obviously catering to a niche audience that's the style that audience likes. So if that's what your audience is laying money out for, then stylistically it's probably the route that, they're going to go and that they are going. Where do you think the business is when did you first start watching wrestling? Maybe 93 or 94. Okay, for as long as you've been watching and then, start training in it and then doing it, and now you're where you're at. What was your favorite period stylistically? Or to give you an example, I loved mid-'80s NWA, Mid-South Power Pro.
Yeah.
Bill Watts and NWA. And then World Class was really hot then before they tailed off when I joined in. I loved what we did in Attitude Era. That was fun. That was cool. And then everything changed, and I had to retire. When you look back at some of the stuff that you grew up watching, what's some of, and maybe there's some Japan stuff sprinkled in there for you. You tell me.
Well, there's a lot of different stuff. Like I grew up on the Attitude Era, so that's always going to be, that's going to be it for me. But then I look back, once I started getting in the business and started trading tapes and getting my hands on stuff, then I was seeing, you brought up before, Terry Gordy and Dr. Death in Japan. And when I started hanging out with Matt Bourne, then he was giving me all these tapes of Brody that he had and Terry Funk and saying, make sure you watch this, learn from these guys. I mean, you go back over the course of the history of everything, watching Lawler against Funk in Memphis is stuff that I love to watch. Adrian Adonis, and Dick Murdoch. I love watching those guys when Dusty was on top. And then personally, as far as my career goes, I would say the early days of NXT, because we built that brand into, what it's become now. And I'm prideful of that, because we took it out of, there were 30 people at a show at the Armories in Florida when I first got there. And then to stand in Barclays Center in my hometown with my parents in the front row and the whole nine, that's stuff special.
Man, them armories were fun to work.
Yeah.
We worked a bunch in Texas. I remember the one over in Jacksboro, Texas. And I remembered of a funny Bronco Lubitsch story when he's taking a piss out in the parking lot. he was over peeing behind a tree, and the dude's one of the guys' girl came with him, and while he was in work, and she was just out there in the car. And Bronco's over taking a leak. I said, God dang, Bronco. I said, so-and-so's girlfriend was right there in the car while you were pissing. And Bronco always had this real sneaky way about him. He kind of looked around, had this little grin on his face. You'd have loved to meet him. And he was so old school. Him and Skandar took me under their wings, and I so much appreciated it. And I'd ride in the back while we'd go to shows in Louisiana. And I told him, damn, Bronco, you're pissing right in front of so-and-so's girlfriend. And he goes, it's okay. I didn't pull it all the way out. I'll never forget that story. That justified everything. Some of the names you mentioned there before you got to the newer guys, Lawler is, to me, he's so underrated, and he's one of the best to ever do it. And he basically worked a brawler style.
Yeah.
You didn't see him do no chain wrestling. He'd grab a headlock.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he was a brawler. And
he was grabbing the headlock to throw a punch behind the ref's back.
Yeah, and he wasn't the biggest dude in the world. I mean, because it wasn't like you going to the gym. He wasn't a body guy is what I'm saying. But his shit looked good. One of the best working punches in the history of the business. So psychologically just sound and just – what a promo. And I always hear these people like, hey, so-and-so's the best promo, or this guy's the best promo. Hey, I never see Lawler on nobody's lips. Lawler's one of the best talkers in the history of the business, period.
Yep. Yeah, all that Memphis stuff. There's a match with him and Funk. It's not the empty arena match, but it was at one of the fairgrounds, and the guardrails were really just these wooden posts in the ground and a string. And Lawler hits Funk. Funk goes ass over tea kettle to the outside, steps over the rope to yell at some lady, steps back across, ends up wrapping his leg in the twine or whatever, slides back in the ring, goes to stand up, falls flat on his face, gets out selling. He did it on the fly, just goofing around probably, maybe trying to make Lawler laugh or something. But it's great because it's just so different. It's not a pre-planned thing. It was something in the moment that he felt and just went with, and it entertained the hell out of everybody.
When you look back at that work, if you were trading tape so much, looking at that work and you being a teacher, there's a lot of demand for new people in the business.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not quite as honed up as they need to be, so you see a lot of holes out there.
Yeah.
Not an indictment on the system or anybody, because you still have your veterans out there that are doing a lot of solid work and people doing athletic things, and that's cool. But the work has regressed as things have sped up, just as far as, being able to see through the illusion.
Right.
Would you agree or just totally stiff arm me and say, go sit in the corner?
No, I think,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I think you have people out there, and I know what you mean like by work. It's the making it look as realistic as possible without hurting the guy,
But also,
and the intensity as well.
maneuvering that crowd. You're working the crowd.
Yeah, right.
The crowd ain't working you.
Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah. And I feel a lot of times now, yeah, maybe there's points where there's not any listening to the crowd going on. But then a lot of the times too, like there's misconceptions with some of the high flyers and stuff where it looks like they're not listening to the crowd. But then if, you know, I forget who it was. I was watching two guys call a match and they're calling so much stuff. And I didn't say anything I wanted to see how it came out. But sure enough, there were the right beats in the right spots where they were listening. So I think it's just, it's like anything else. It's a situational thing. And it goes to either somebody has that skill to listen to the crowd and know where they're going, or it's time to get my shit in.
Talk to me about the tape trading days, because before you leave here, I'm going to send you a match, and it's a match I've been talking about on the podcast for the last few months here and there. I'm going to beat a dead horse, but it's from 77, and it's from the Sam Houston Coliseum in Houston, Texas, and it's Harley Race against Terry Funk, and they go 40 minutes. It's the best 2 out of 3 falls match, and somewhere in there, it's a 23-minute mark, give or take, or maybe it's 33, whatever. Funk starts bleeding, and I'm sitting there talking with Bruce Pritchard on the phone. Where, how, why, how you win, you know? And Harley's left-handed, and he's giving him these stiff shots. I'm thinking, man, but it ain't a hard way. But his shots look just great.
Yeah.
And so that was a magnificent match, and I'll forward it to you once we get off the air.
Thank you. That's awesome.
But going back to your tape trading days, what stuff did you really like? I mean, who did you really like to watch? Because you said Brody, and if you said Brody tapes, I can't get on YouTube and watch enough Brody stuff.
Yeah,
because it's limited. Do you got anything you can send me?
I have actually a copy of it. It's a 4 DVD set. It's like the best of Brody in Japan that Matt gave to me.
Really?
And
who made it?
Oh, I don't know if it was.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who it was, but he had it. He gave it to me one day, and he goes, I want you to learn this backwards and forwards and watch how he made people earn everything that they got.
Holy shit, did he?
You know, and
boy, if you didn't earn it, you wasn't going to get it.
Yeah. And what you said earlier about, you know, the bump cards, that was Matt's way of watch Brody, because, you know, in WWE, I'm in the land of giants. I'm not the biggest guy. But out on the indies, I'm a pretty big guy. So when I was still on the indies the first time around, Matt was saying, you're bumping too much. You're bumping too much. And in my head, just being young, I thought like, no, I'm working hard. And he's like, no. And then he made me watch Brody, watch how he saved the one bump till it meant something. He was work like that. Start learning this. Watch this. And he gave me the 4 discs, and that was it. I never looked back.
It's funny because that you mentioned that, and I thought about it years ago, but it is true. When you're green, you think bumping is the ticket.
Yeah.
That I got to take more bumps because that's how, you know.
That's what I learned today.
Yeah, that's what that's what's going to elicit a response, or taking bumps is the ticket.
Right.
Or that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a means to an end, and there needs to be a reason why you're taking the bumps, but, you know, the biggest mistake the green guys make is doing things too fast.
Yeah.
Maybe the second would be taking too many bumps.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, it's an easy way to.
If you feel like you're going slow the fuck down.
Yeah, I mean, you don't. No one goes out there and just gives people a bunch of bumps. They want to take them.
Yeah.
And you know, because you're on the receiving end, and you think, I'm impressing people by how I'm flying around.
Yeah.
Bumps are great when they're needed.
Yeah.
But when you talk about Brody, he's a hard guy and Matt was a very knowledgeable guy. And you were smart enough to understand the Brody thing. The other thing you got to understand about Brody was what a menace. At his height and weight, dude, and just his genetic makeup was a freak.
Yeah.
There's just not too many guys, and you watch all that Bruiser Brody stuff you got. Most of the people, when he snatches someone up in a headlock, they're just engulfed in a bunch of just brawn, muscle, mass, and hair, and a fucking mean streak, a mile long and 4 foot wide.
Yeah.
You know, and if he if he respected you, you were cool. But if not, you were at his mercy.
Yeah.
And I've been down there because I was playing football at North Texas State. Brody would come through. Sometimes he would just beat the flying shit out of somebody. And it was unnerving.
Yeah.
The kind of damage and intimidation that guy could impose.
And there was no remorse in his face when he did it. He believed every bit of what he was
right.
doing.
A fucking wild man.
Yeah.
And so I say the same thing that Matt told you. I tell people all the time, and you ain't got to be 6'5", 6'6", whatever, 300, 320, whatever he was.
Yeah.
And he kind of varied depending on what territory he was in. But it's just you watch that guy. And he's so believable, and he's so in it. I mean, he's like in another world. That is captivating.
Yeah.
And his shit looked good.
Yeah.
And a lot of it hurt.
I was going to say, I'm sure it didn't feel good.
But just watching the way he approached the business was, I think it's a study.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a thing on YouTube where he did an interview in the news station, but he was out of character.
I saw
it's
that.
fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Like just watching him talk and just how he viewed things and how he viewed the business and his whole grassroots, basically what independent wrestling is back to now, where he, hey, these bigger companies won't go to the smaller towns. Bruiser Brody will. Like, to me, that was like, it just spoke volumes of where he was at mentally, like with what he was doing. And it was really cool.
I'll never forget the story when I was talking to Skandar Akbar and Bronco Lubitsch when I just started down there at the Sportatorium in Dallas. And they were telling me when Brody first came in, and, they said, Frank Goodish, Frank, you saving any money? And sure enough, Frank, was carrying his tuna fish cans around. He was opening up, and that was the old advice guys would give to the new guys coming in, and seeing if they were going to save any money, not blowing their money on a bunch of stupid shit, drugs, this, that, whatever. So when Bruiser busted out those tuna fish cans, Skandar kind of looked at him. You were probably you'd never met obviously Skandar,
No.
And Skandar was just. Boy, he was a heat-seeking missile when he was a heel, but he was the nicest, coolest guy who would just give you a wealth of information while you're riding down the road. And he saw Frank break out those tuna fish cans, and he goes, you'll do fine. Because he knew he was saving his money. From every indication, I had never heard of Frank Goodish spending a damn dime on anything he didn't need.
Yeah. Then going back to Japan, he probably had all the sponsors taking him out, so he wasn't spending money there either.
We used to go over to New Japan, and a lot of those guys would go out. You'd have to go out after the matches. Mm-hmm. And with the sponsors, I guess a lot of them are like, what do they call them over there?
Yakuza?
Yeah. I'm like, and I was so tired. One time I flew over there for one match. And I was so jet lagged. We went out afterwards in a big damn, like oval table, and everybody's sitting on the ground, and we're eating dinner. And man, I just fell asleep. I think it was, I was sitting there drinking too, but I just went to sleep. And I was like, man, I was so goddamn tired. I was like, ready to get the fuck out of Dodge. And I didn't understand, like, hey man, these big time sponsors for these dudes and some pretty heavy hitters. Yeah. But those give those guys motorcycles and all kinds of stuff. I was like, man, how come the sponsors don't exist in the United States? Yeah. Nobody buying me shit.
I had fans bring me presents at one of the shows, and I was like, the American fans need to step their game up.
Hey, are you going to go to the Ribera Steakhouse?
I am. I'm going to go back, get another jacket. I got my jacket the last time I went.
Why is that such a gimmick?
I don't know. But I figured, you know what? I'm here. I don't know if I'm coming back, so I guess you just got to do it. And they don't really give them out anymore, so I was happy to get one. So
what do they cost?
Nothing. The owner gave it to me for free.
But you're going to go buy one this time?
No, I'm going to go back and get another free one. I have my one already. I don't really need it.
See if you can buy me one.
Yeah, sure.
I'll pay you back next time I see you.
Yeah, sounds good.
Or ship it to me, and I'll ship you the money. Do they got colors?
They gave me a navy blue one the last time, but I didn't mind because it was the Cowboys colors.
Cowboys colors. You talking football?
Yes, sir.
You're a Dallas Cowboys fan?
I am.
How? Why? You're from New York City.
Yeah, my one brother was a Cowboys fan, and my other brother was a Steelers fan. So the year that they played in the Super Bowl, they were trying to get me as like the good luck charm. And blue is my favorite color, so I chose the star. Haven't looked back since.
Man, Dallas Cowboys, obviously an iconic team, that star. I've cheered for them. I've cheered for other people. You know, when I was a kid growing up, you know, I was a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And, you know, Terry Bradshaw, Franco Harris, you know, the whole lineup. I'm not going to go through it. But boy, my dad, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys. And, of course, you know, when Earl Campbell came through with Houston Oilers, I'm a big Houston Oilers fan, but Earl Campbell fan specifically, Cowboys just got throttled the other day.
Yep.
Jerry Jarrett was none too happy about it. Have you got a chance to watch much football this year?
Here and there. I'll always, you know, I'll have the stream on my phone, or I'll have, you know, at least like the live play-by-play going, you know, if I'm in the locker room or wherever I am.
Man, I wasn't a big fan of the Baltimore brand of football.
Yeah.
Until Lamar Jackson came.
Yeah.
And, you know, now he's in his second year, and I was following Lamar back when he was in Louisville, you know, and won a Heisman. And so I saw him back then. He ends up going in the first round. Mm-hmm. But, you know, a lot of people want to recruit him as a running back or receiver just based off his athletic ability. And that kid is so exciting.
Yeah, he's
I mean, and
it's
now,
like it's the same as when Michael Vick first came in the league. It's that kind of excitement watching a game.
But, you know, and like I think they were talking about Lamar last night on Monday Night Football, and he was having a hard time throwing the pro ball because it was a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So he worked all off season on that bigger ball, and man, he's throwing some lightning strikes.
Yeah.
And God dang, what an improvement! And of course, just his athletic ability is just next level.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
He's so exciting. And well, I remember Vic, and Vic threw a pretty ass ball. He was left-handed.
Yeah.
He kind of sling that thing a little bit sidearm, and God dang, put that guy in the open field, and he was dynamic.
Yeah.
But man, I think Lamar Jackson probably has a little bit more.
I think so too. And he's more accurate too with his throws.
I think he's a better quarterback.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
Dude, his athletic ability is just flat out off the charts.
Yeah. I know Brady was pushing for him to get drafted to New England.
Oh, really?
And then, that was when it really started making headlines, was Brady told Belichick he wanted in the draft Lamar. And then the Ravens surprised out of nowhere.
Man,
Steel chair across the head.
But you know what? It's fun because you're going back to those Joe Flacco days. You know, Flacco had a couple pretty good years.
Yeah.
You know, and then just kind of tailed off. But just to go from that pure drop back pocket passer mentality to go into the dual threat, and you know, John Harbaugh saying, "Hey man, let's go for it."
Yeah, let him run.
And they are. And that team, man, they got a lights out defense.
Yep.
The offense is lighting it up.
Yeah, they're fun to watch. And nobody thought Mark Ingram would do anything after the Saints released him.
Well, and I am so glad that Mark Ingram ended up with the Ravens, because I felt for some reason coming out of Alabama, going into New Orleans, he just, I don't know if it's stylistically or just because you have Lamar and you got to worry about whatever he's going to do, and he can also throw it now. That affords him, you know, more opportunities. But man, he's kicking ass in that defense. and what's the other running back's name? Edwards. But anyway,
what are you talking about?
It's a dual threat.
Yeah.
But Mark Ingram is a whole different running back. All these years removed from being in New Orleans is like a rebirth.
Absolutely.
So that's been refreshing for me.
Yeah, they're fun to watch. That whole team is exciting.
And then, you know, I wonder how long Drew Brees is going to continue to play, because he had that thumb injury or whatever it was there for a couple of weeks, got patched up. He's back now. Sean Payton, hell of a damn head coach. Belichick and Brady are winning. Ravens are turning it on. San Fran.
Yep.
Some people are knocking Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, he did get nervous 2 weeks ago, and he kind of shit the bed a little bit. But, you know, that guy's having a good year.
Yeah, they're winning. I mean,
God dang, I just saw one of my favorite running backs who used to play for San Fran just passed Barry Sanders, Frank Gore. I don't know if you're a Frank Gore fan, but God dang, man, that guy, if he didn't go in the Hall of Fame first ballot, I'll throw a ruckus.
Yeah, he's still going strong, too.
Oh, damn right he is.
Yeah.
And that guy was a slashing hard runner. Second favorite team?
Oh, man. I don't know.
Who you despise?
The Giants.
And you're from New York.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, they play in New Jersey, so let's clear that up.
Okay, but why?
Their fans are becoming more obnoxious than the Eagles fans. So I've learned.
Is that possible?
I'm
saying that 'cause a good friend of mine's from Philly.
I thought no, but I love wrestling in Philadelphia. I don't like sports in Philadelphia.
I like Doug Peterson, the head coach. I was glad when he won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. I was cheering for him.
Actually, Kelsey, I like Kelsey too because of that speech he gave on the parade.
Dude, when Jason Kelsey left that goddamn promo, was talking about Lane Johnson can't stay off the gas.
I tried to send him a message on his Facebook fan page to get him to manage me at one of Dreamer shows at the arena in Philly. I wanted him to come out dressed like that.
Oh, talk about another guy, Patrick Mahomes over there in Kansas City. Man, that guy slings that rock like it's nobody's business. Got knocked out there for a little bit with patella injury. Had to get his kneecap knocked out of place, whatever. Now he's back. Andy Reid's got those guys coached up, and they've got some super fast receivers and running backs, so they're kicking ass as well.
Yeah.
I like watching Mahomes play as well. Tell people where they can find you, what you got going on, this, that, whatever.
Yeah, I am.
Everything Bull James.
All forms of social media at Real Bull James. I have my wrestling school that we talked about, NYWC on Long Island. We do those shows. We do outlaw wrestling shows out of Brooklyn and everywhere else in between. I mean, like I said, going to Japan, going to the UK. Going to be doing some more stuff at the Comedy Store out here. So there's a lot of really cool stuff going on right now.
Hey, next time you come out to the Comedy Store, give me a heads up, send me a text, because, man, I caught this show, and we'd already booked our trip to Nevada, so I was stuck, and I really wanted to come see that show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I definitely want to come see one of those shows. And then you said something about outlaw wrestling, and then just as we teased to go home, but now we just get back into what are your thoughts on, have you ever wrestled a death match?
I have not. I've done a no-ring bar brawl thing, but no, I'm not a big fan of the light tubes. I mean, I'm friends with a lot of guys that do it, and I get why they do it, because it's something that they respect and love to do, so I support them. It's just not my cup of tea.
Boy, it ain't my cup of tea either, but I've seen a couple of those damn matches, and then I had a couple of guys on the show.
Yeah, like I said, I'm friends with a lot of those guys. I love them as human beings, but
some of the stuff is hard to watch.
I can't watch much of it anymore because I've become friends with those guys.
Right, and you just can't see a bad landing.
Yeah,
it's like when someone really torques their knee or something playing NFL, and they'll show the replay, and you just see.
Yeah,
I can't watch it. I'll look away from the screen. So the same thing when I'm watching these guys, and I'll see the setup, but then also along with it, I can't, I got to see how it's going to get pulled off. And the dude gets smoked, like when the one dude, when it came off the top of the building, went to the back of the truck.
Yeah.
And just, dude, and of course, the Danzig, whatever his name was, he broke 3 bones in his back, had to go into retirement. But that dude, it was Joey.
Yeah, Joey went off the roof.
Ripped his thumb off or whatever it was, but just scary as shit, because, I mean, had you been a half inch or this side or whatever off, someone would have been dead.
Yeah.
And all these people are watching. So, I mean, like, it's just a very interesting aspect.
Yeah.
As I sit across some table from you, I don't see too many scars on your forehead, if any. Pretty virgin territory up there.
Yep. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
I mean,
time and a place?
Yeah, time and a place. I think,
and what about in the 2019s and in the 20s? Kind of just is fading out.
Yeah, it is. But again, when it happens, it's important. Now, it has a sense of importance. When Randy and Brock did that piece of business a couple, was it 2 years ago maybe? Yeah. It got attention. It grabbed people's eyes. And I think that's where it should be done, because you want it to grab attention. You want it to do business. So if you just whore it out, there's no spectacle in it anymore when it happens. And I think it's better off saved for, a money angle where it's really going to mean something.
Yeah, when it means something.
Yeah.
I was back in the day when I was working WCW, and me and Dustin would work match after match after match, and we were both freaks for the blade back in the day. We were working.
Well, when he wrestled Cody, whew.
Well, and boy, that was an extreme gusher.
Yeah.
But that color really made that match.
Right.
Because you were so, he's losing so much blood. Mm-hmm. This is really going to harm him.
Yeah.
And so there was that real sense of urgency. And I love that match, because I love what they did offensively, taking a few moves from each other's arsenal and use them against each other.
Yeah.
And, of course, Dustin was, I think, 50 in that match, and Cody was 33 or whatever. Of course, they're sons of Dusty Rhodes, one of my all-time favorites. So the match was built. from way back in the day.
Yeah.
And then the promo cut afterwards was magic.
Yeah.
And that was such an emotional moment. The match was really, really good. The match with the blood was excellent.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Go ahead.
No, like that goes without saying that was a fun match to watch. That was, as a fan.
Bull, I'm going to pour another beer. If you want to join me on one after I shut this microphone down, you can. If you don't, you fix to go to Japan. You're going to sit down on an airplane for, I don't know, how long does it take to Japan these days? 10 hours?
From L.A., it'll be about 12.
12 hours. Yeah. You ain't going to brag about it.
So no, I'm not.
Sit there and watch your Bruiser Brody tapes and pull your thumbs. But I'm going to drink a beer. And I wish you safe travels, and hopefully you do well over there and people enjoy your seminars. And next time you come back in town, we'll hook it back up, and I'll come down to the comedy club. And if you get in harm's way out there enough, I'll fucking do a run in and hit somebody's ass with a stunner and help a brother out.
If it calls for it, I'm all for it. I'm not going to say no to that.
What's the mission of this match?
Take a Stone Cold Stunner.
I'll be a no
Drink a beer.
A no sell on the stunner, and I eat somebody's finish, and I get pinned. Who booked this shit, and why did I agree to it? Bull James, ladies and gentlemen, Bull James. Let's give it up for Geico for supporting the Steve Austin Show for all these years. In just 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Geico has been offering great rates and great service for over 75 years. And anytime you need help, you can speak to one of their trained specialists 24/7. Go to geico.com and start saving cash. Extra money in your pocket, it may just be the most rewarding thing you do today. All right, everybody, give me the go-home cue. It's time to wrap up this podcast and ride off in the sunset. But before I do that, hell, I want to thank my guest, Bull James, for coming by and shooting the breeze with me today. It was finally nice to meet Bull in person. And he didn't just bring himself. He brought yours truly, that bottle of Don Julio Blanco tequila. Normally, I drink Patron Silver. Back in the day, I used to drink Don Julio, and I never had the Blanco. I was drinking the Reposada. So tonight, in lieu of this gift and in honor of Bull James having a successful tour over there in Japan, he's still over there in the land of the rising sun, I am going to make Broken Skull Ranch margaritas with Don Julio Blanco tequila and see how they taste. Thanks, Bull, very much. It was good seeing you, and thanks for stopping by. It was good just shooting the breeze and talking about the business of pro wrestling. Don't forget to rate and review the Steve Austin Show on Apple Podcasts and tell your friends to check us out. If you want to reach me here on the podcast, send an email to questions@steveaustonshow.com. And I want to say thank you very much to all the people on the East Coast and everybody that traveled to the 3 states where we're now shipping Broken Skull IPA, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and New York, for being so kind and welcoming us over in that part of the territory. We're about to send a whole bunch more beer your way, so keep on the lookout. It's Broken Skull IPA from El Segundo Brewing Company, and if you go to the El Segundo Brewing Company website, click on the interactive map to find where Broken Skull IPA and a couple of other beers from El Segundo Brewing Company can be found in an area near you. Thank you again for everybody who has been so cool about receiving this beer over there. I try to give everybody a cheers or a hell yeah. If you send me a shout out on Twitter, I try to tweet you back. Thank you much for your support. It means a lot to me. In 2020, we're looking to expand to several more states, and I'll have information on that as we get closer to that date. Speaking of getting close to that date, god dang, I can't believe it's already December. Christmas around the corner, New Year right down the road. Hey, don't forget the King of Attitude shirts are available now at Pro Wrestling Tees store. Check out ProWrestlingTees.com/Steve Austin for those shirts. We just released about 4 or 5 brand new designs. I'm fixing to come up with some badass designs for 2020 and a couple of other things I think you will be interested in. Broken Skull Ranch apparel is on there also. That is ProWrestlingTees.com/Steve Austin. Hey, it's the Christmas season. A T-shirt would be a great stocking stuffer. So would a badass pocket knife from Cold Steel. I got 2 of them we collaborated on. Cold Steel Broken Skull Knife or Cold Steel Working Man's Knife. You can find them both at my Amazon store. Amazon has the best price on both knives. Just go to Amazon.com/shop/Steve Austin. I want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in to the WWE Network and watched my visit with the one and only Undertaker on Steve Austin, the Broken Skull Sessions. I think, I don't know how many views, downloads, streams it did, but it was a bunch. Thank you very much for the support. Pro wrestling put me on the map. It's good to be back in that space. Thank you very much, and a shout-out to The Undertaker. As we said on that broadcast, we have only scratched the surface. So I look forward to sitting across from the dead man again, drinking some Jack Daniels whiskey, sipping some Broken Skull IPA, and getting to some specifics on some badass stories. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. I want to say one more thank you to all the fine sponsors of the Steve Austin Show, especially Zoro.com, Health IQ, Lightstream, Geico, and BetOnline.ag. That's how I'm able to do this podcast for you twice a week for free. Please support them because they support us. If you need more info on my sponsors, check out the show description to this episode for details. Folks, if you see me in the woods, you'll proudly see me riding the Kawasaki. Until next time, my name is Steve Austin, and I will catch your ass down the road.
This has been a Podcast One production. Download new episodes of The Steve Austin Show every Tuesday at PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.